Hello, everyone. It's Michael Zapersky, and today I'm here with Cynthia Barnes. Cynthia, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Cynthia, you run Barnes Sales Institute. You work with clients like Michelin, Toyota, Autodesk, Okta, AT&T, and T, and many others. Your focus is really on helping women to thrive in sales. Is that right?
Yes, and we work with those companies to help them with the four pillars of attraction, hiring, developing, and retaining the women in sales.
Love it. Okay, well, we're going to dig a lot deeper into that. I want to get started kind of in the early days. Were you involved in sales from a young age?
Yes, the running joke around my circles is that I used to tell my audiences as a keynote speaker, hey, I've been selling for 20 plus years, until one day in the audience, a young woman said, that's longer than I've been alive. And I got my feelings hurt. So from then on, I just said, I've been selling since Girl Scout cookies were $1.50 a box, and then let the audience do the math.
So for you back in that, like in those days, was sales and meeting with others and having kind of those conversations about a product or service, was that uncomfortable for you ever, or was that just something that kind of came naturally to you?
It came naturally. I always thought of sales as having the ultimate influence. So sales to me and to the people that I consult is merely influencing decision makers to say yes.
Yeah, I love it. Well, so I think another thing that stood out to me is that you were in enrollment, right, for the University of Phoenix.
Yes.
And I think one thing that I saw or just caught my attention when I was going through that and doing some research on you was that you consistently won retention awards. What was that all about? Like winning retention awards. What was that?
It was a matter of making sure that my clients, those students, they stuck and stayed.
Yeah.
It's no good to enroll them into a program only to have them leave, because it's much harder to get a client or a student in that matter rather than trying to retain them. And on a personal level, I got a lot of pleasure seeing them walk across the graduation stage.
Yeah, no, I think that's so huge because you're right. Like client retention itself is so important, right? And far too often, people are thinking about always like bringing in new clients, client acquisition. But they're not often spending enough time on really servicing their current clients, and making sure that they stay around longer, increasing the lifetime value. What's been your experience on that in terms of retention, doing more with current or past clients to increase lifetime value?
I look at the CLV, that the customer lifetime value, and I put a number on the actual dollar of what that client will bring me over the lifetime of our tenure together.
Mhm.
And when I have that dollar amount in mind, it's much easier to develop programs, customer service levels around that, because I know how much that relationship is worth. Then I also have a number of how much it costs to bring in a new client of that level. And it reminds me, I better take care of the ones that I have, because it takes too much time, effort, and resources and money to go out and replace them.
Do you find that a lot of people that you speak with don't have a clear understanding around what their, customer lifetime value is?
They have no clue. They probably, most times, they don't even know what CLV is.
When you understand that, like when someone, so even just take someone who might be a solo independent consultant or have a consulting firm with 5 or 10 people, like how important is it to really understand what the lifetime value of a client is?
It's crucial. One of the cornerstones of a consultancy is you need to make sure that you understand that CLV. In certain circles, they think about, what is this client going to do right here, right now?
Mhm.
And in Asian cultures, they think about, what is the decision that I'm about to make? How is that going to last 7 generations down? We tend to think about one generation, the here and now. So if you take that same philosophy to your customers and say, what is the legacy for not only my book of business, but for the whoever takes over my book of business 7 generations from now, because that's how long it can last if done well.
Yeah, I think that's a really powerful kind of idea and principle, right? Too often people are very focused on, as you said, like the here and now, making the sale, it's more transaction rather than just relationship. But what I've also observed and seen both in our business and in many other consultants' business is that when you shift the focus away from transactions, right, more onto relationships, more on really like providing value and servicing at the highest level without necessarily expecting a big return back right away, you end up, creating more wealth. You end up creating more value, which brings you, right, more referrals, more business, more long-term clients. And so it's this mindset that a lot of people have where like the focusing on the now is kind of holding them back from creating the value that can last them from the long term. What's been your experience or any thoughts you have on that?
Just because someone says no right now doesn't mean no forever.
Mm.
So when you go into the beginnings of a relationship, you have to think about, how do I add value until the point in which they are ready to do business with me? And when you think about that 5, 6 months down the road, maybe even 2 years down the road, and you keep nurturing them, giving them value, when they come on board with you, it's going to be a deeper relationship. Selling and developing business development is a lot like dating. You don't ask someone that you just met whether they'd like to go away for the weekend with you.
Yeah.
You exchange numbers, you exchange texts, you have a phone conversation, then you have some coffee. It's a very slow process. Those relationships in dating that are rushed are most likely doomed to fail. The same thing goes with prospecting and business development.
Yeah, I've been out of that dating game for quite a while now, but I get what you're saying. And, so I think a lot of people are going to hear that and go, well, yeah, like, so you're saying when someone says no, in your experience, how often should people expect to hear no? I mean, and I'm asking this because I think a lot of people, just the idea of hearing no is actually what holds them back from taking more action around their prospecting and outreach, follow-ups. But you just mentioned hearing no is a very normal thing. It's to be expected. Do you have any numbers or, what percentage of time do you think people, or have you kind of experienced that no comes up? Is it 40% of the time, 60% of the time? What are your thoughts on that?
90% of the time.
90% of the time. So people reach out to 10 people, 9 of them will say no. 1 will say yes, or they'll be interested in having a further conversation right now.
Correct.
What does that then mean? So if we can kind of break that down, if 9 out of 10 people say no, you and I both know that doesn't mean it means no forever, right? It's just no currently. Mm-hmm. So what's the best practice? What should people be doing when they hear no? What are the next steps they should take to ensure that no can become a yes at some point down the road?
First of all, you have to welcome the no's. But I need to back up and say that if you are hearing no and it's not your ideal target market, then it's almost devastating. But if you know with granularity and specificity who exactly is your ideal target market, then those no's are just not right now. And it's a numbers game. And I don't want people to think that I just need to throw spaghetti at a wall and hope for a whole bunch of prospects. No, you have to know who your ideal target market is, then get 500 of them as leads. And then when you hear 10% no or 90% no and a 10% yes, that's 50 out of 500. But if you only have 25 prospects and you hear no 90% of the time, then you're starving to death.
Right. Got it. And what are you finding is the best practice in finding those leads? Is it purchasing it from like a list broker? Is it using some kind of service online? What's kind of the latest and best in actually identifying leads?
I get all of my leads and all of my clients off of my LinkedIn outreach.
Got it.
The first step is to create an avatar with the psychographics and demographics of the ideal client. That if I were to put 5 of them around the table and you gave them your best slide deck and your best pitch, they would all say, do you accept Visa?
MasterCard or Amex or whatever it is, yeah.
Purchase orders, we want cash, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I do. And then I create content, lead magnets, sequencing, nurturing, all around the problems that keep my target market up at night.
Mm.
And all of my messaging is around that. So there's a formula in marketing that's M times M equals R. And if you go back to 9th grade algebra, anything in an algebraic equation set to 0 means the whole thing is 0. So the first M in the equation, M times M equals R, is your message. What do you say to that target market to get them to stop the scroll? The second M is your media. Where do you put that message? Is it in a billboard? Is it in a journal? Is it on LinkedIn? And the R in that equation, M times M equals R, is the result. So unless your message gets them to stop the scroll and it's in the right place, the media, then the result is going to get 0. And unless you know with granularity and specificity, my 2 favorite words, your target market, there's no way that you can create that messaging to get them to stop the scroll.
And for people who go, okay, that makes sense. Like, Cynthia, I understand that, but what if I don't know exactly who my ideal client is, or I don't have the perfect message to put in front of them because I'm not quite sure? What have you found is kind of the best practice to, number one, identify the ideal client, and then number 2, to develop a message that will really get kind of their attention and interest? And I'll just say these are big topics, so I don't expect to go maybe too deep in each one. We certainly do a lot of work with our clients around these, but just anything that you've found to be really helpful in terms of advice around that.
Sure. With our clients, we take them through a sequence of clarity exercises. For those listening, what they can do is they can Google an avatar worksheet, and I think digitalmarketer.com has one, and it will walk you through the steps of your ideal client. When they do that, they have to make sure that they are not so married to their current client that they can't envision their ideal client.
That's a great point. Yeah. Got it. Okay. So what you're saying is digital marketer, right? Very successful kind of online training products, event company and I'm sure there's many other sources out there, but essentially finding a worksheet or something or someone that can take you through getting clear on who your ideal client is. And that'll move people forward to at least greater levels of clarity than they currently have.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right. So that formula, I think is powerful. I want to come back to dig into more of like how you got to where you are today, because your focus is really on women in sales, right? You go into organizations where they want to either recruit and attract or retain, female sales superstars, right? Or salespeople. And I think that focus is great because it's a very specific niche, and right, establishes you as an expert in that area. But why did you choose that? Like, why did you decide to have that focus? Because there's many other sales consultants who are women who don't have that specific focus. So how did you arrive at that?
My customers told me what they needed. So I had the association, the National Association of Women Sales Professionals, in which we provide them with professional development to reach the top 1%.
Mm-hmm.
Companies were coming to me saying, Cynthia, how do we tap into your market? My question to them was, you can tap into our membership. What are you doing to help them stick and stay?
Right.
Out of that need, I created a consultancy.
Yeah, well, I guess what I love about that is that you're taking feedback from the marketplace, right? Too many people will say, yeah, I'm gonna put out this because it's something that I feel good about or that I can do, but they haven't yet validated that hypothesis with the marketplace. And it's only when you actually take that idea to the market, get real feedback, do you know whether or not what you have is going to to have ground to build upon. Okay, so you heard from the marketplace, they said, yes, we want help in this area. What was the next thing that you did? Like, how did you get the word out that Cynthia Barnes is now specializing and working with women in sales? What did that kind of next step look like for you to get on the radar of a lot of ideal clients?
It was all through LinkedIn.
Okay, so walk us through. So you identify your ideal client on LinkedIn. You're using Sales Navigator to find them. Yeah, and then what is your initial, kind of outreach or message look like? Is it a connection request to start with?
It is a connection request. And I have a very specific connection request that I send to them, and then they accept the connection request. I send a follow-up message 2 to 5 days later, and then I tag them in a certain way to walk them through my sales funnel. And then I have downloadables, I have lead magnets, yep. I have a call to action in those scripts, and I move them through top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel.
And how soon are you actually suggesting or asking, like, let's jump on a call? My real question is, how soon are you going from, or when are you going into the ask? And how much content are you using before you get to the ask? Are you going like right into the ask?
Nope, it's a 3-step process. So I'm not asking until day 7.
Day 7. Okay. So they're getting 2 or 3 messages before you actually ask to jump on a call.
3.
3. So 3, and then on the 4th, it's, hey, why don't we jump on a call, explore this, or something along those lines?
Yes.
And will you send that request, kind of make that ask, even if they have not responded to the 3 messages prior?
Correct. Yes, I will.
Got it. And then each of those 3 messages, are you sending them to a specific content piece, or are you directing them to an article? Are you like, just walk us through from a high level, what are you doing in each of those 3?
All of the above. So the first message is
Okay, yeah.
let's connect. The second message is thanks for connecting with me. Here is a downloadable for you. And then I tell them, like, get foreshadowing. I'll follow up with you in a couple of days to see what your thoughts are.
Yep.
So they're expecting another message from me. So in that third message is, hey, what did you think of this? And then I go into the pain point of what my target market is experiencing and ask them, does this challenge affect you too? If so, I'd like to hop on a call.
Yeah. So that's your 4th message, is that ask.
Yes.
Yeah.
And P.S., here's another article for you. So I'm always giving value that taps into what's keeping them up at night.
Yeah, I love that. It sounds like our approaches are very aligned. We do a lot of work in our coaching program with consultants on exactly kind of that step. And I'm a very big believer in the value kind of relationship focused approach and not the transactional, where we all get messages these days on LinkedIn from people who are essentially just, hey, here's what I have, buy it. It's spam, but done through LinkedIn. And it's certainly, I don't find it works because I would never buy that way. And I don't think that any savvy buyer would. But that's great. I appreciate you breaking that down and specificity of how you actually go about that. So you do a lot of work, right, with women in sales. I'm interested because we have both women and men who are in our community who will be listening to this podcast and obviously need to make sales, right, to grow their business. What are some of the big differences that you've found that really kind of differentiate or maybe a difference in approach or a mindset that women have compared to men?
First of all, women experience unique challenges that men do not in the sales process. And that comes in the form of microaggressions, implicit bias, unconscious bias, things that we have to overcome. And as long as we're aware of those things, we can overcome them. We also have innate strengths that are most times not amplified the way they should be. For example, women are wonderful at building relationships. And in the sales process, it's all about relationships. So why not use that to your benefit? It's all about being aware. Where are the challenges? Where are the things that need to be amplified, and use them for your benefit?
So one thing, again, we have a lot of clients, both men and women. And one thing that I see pop up with both male and female is kind of the hesitancy around, like, hesitating to be direct, or the concern of, I don't want to be too promotional, too salesy, I don't want to appear needy. And what that then causes is hesitation and holding back, actually reaching out more directly to an ideal client or following up. And I'm interested in your perspective and your experience. Like, what is the best practice, or what would you say to someone, and especially maybe a woman listening right now, but it could be a man too, because I think this is shared, who says, yeah, I know that I need to be following up more. I know deep down inside I should be more direct, but I'm not doing it because I have fear, or I'm concerned that I might say the wrong thing. I might miss the one big opportunity to really make an impact or a mark. And so I'm just not taking as much action as I should, because I feel like I'm still missing some things, and I need to have those in place before I go out and be more direct, or take more action, or follow up more consistently.
I'll say 2 things. Number one, as they say down south in the Georgia area, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So all the time that you are hesitating, you are missing out on opportunities because you're not asking.
Yeah.
The second thing I want to say is, it's just like having a child. There's never a good time to have a child. You can be prepared with books and bottles and all that good stuff, but nothing really fully prepares you for it. So you can read all the sales books, you can listen to the podcast. The only way you are going to get confident is to do it over and over and over. Don't worry about missing shots and missing opportunities. Just do it. Do the thing that you fear, and the fear leaves.
Yeah. Cynthia, I think you and I are connected in one way or another, because everything that you're saying just resonates with, advice that we provide to clients, and the belief and experience and observations that I've had in businesses as well. So I'm glad to have you on the podcast here today, and to be bringing your experience to everyone listening. Let's talk a little bit more about your business. You mentioned and kind of shared that really the way that you've built it was through LinkedIn. And that's nice to hear, because very often people say, yeah, my business is built really through just referrals and network. And I'm sure that you get referral business, and that's part of what you do. But it's nice to hear that you've been very kind of in control and intentional in building your business. It's now, I think, 3 or 4 years since you've started your consulting business. What are you doing today to kind of grow it to the next level, or to make improvements, like in terms of systems or tools or team members, processes? What are you kind of excited about, and what are you currently doing that is going to take your business, or is taking your business to that next level?
Sure. In the beginning, we were helping with developing women in sales initiatives. Now we actually have the only women in sales training, classroom training for these corporations to actually get their women into the classroom to work on scripting and verbiage and things like that. So you have to be thinking about what's next, because your competition never sleeps.
Yeah, I agree. So, some people say, well, no, I'm in a good place. I'm doing really well right now. But what they're not recognizing is there's no thing is like, just, you can't just stand still. The moment you stand still, right, your competitors are still, it means you're going down. You don't stay here. When they're coming up, you're going down, right? So it is critical. It's so important to be consistently planting those seeds, looking for improvements and ways to get even better. So in terms of now, you've identified, okay, this is an opportunity to go into these organizations to actually get their people into these classrooms. Is that done virtually, or is that done live? How are you actually delivering on that model?
That's actually done knee to knee live. We actually go into, like, for example, Toyota, and we go into the regional centers and we bring in all of their women from the surrounding area, and we go through exercises, because classroom training, live training, there's no substitute for it. And we can't really work on scripting if you are across a Zoom channel.
Right. Okay. And then, so since you're actually going in live to deliver this, are you doing all this yourself? Do you have other team members? Have you kind of done like a train the trainer type of model, where people are now going and delivering this content for you? What's the approach that you're currently using?
In order to scale and grow, you have to come up with systems. I physically can't go across the country and do all of this. So it's a matter of training the trainer, finding those facilitators that we can train to deliver and maintain our branding.
Love it. And then what are you doing right now? Like, you have a lot going on between the association. Give us the name. It's the National Association of Women Sales Professionals.
Correct. NAWSP, yes.
Got it. All right. The acronym's always, it's like a bit of a mouthful, but I see it here on the Zoom screen. So that actually helps. So Cynthia Barnes, but National Association of Women Sales Professionals. So you got that. You have the Barnes Sales Institute, right? You got a lot of stuff kind of going on. What are you doing on a daily basis to maintain high levels of performance? Is there like a specific habit or mindset or kind of principle or approach that you use to just get a lot of good stuff done?
Have you ever heard of nootropics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you popping?
Brain food.
Okay.
Food and supplements to keep that mental sharpness.
Yeah.
Keep the energy levels up. Also, lots of cardio, strength training, self-care, eating right, and surrounding myself with people that push me to the next level, that don't accept mediocrity.
Love it. How have you found like the nootropics and kind of the natural supplements have they really benefited? Like, have you actually noticed a difference when you're using them?
Yes, there's no way that I could accomplish all that I have in a short amount of time if I had just gone with the status quo.
Yeah. I think that's an important just mindset to have, a belief to have, right? You can accept the standard, you can accept the status quo, you can just kind of stay where you are, or you can choose to achieve greatness. And for a lot of people, they're not necessarily just working towards greatness in terms of more money and more wealth, although that, I believe, is also what can really create freedom. But it's whatever area in your life that you want to have greatness in. It might be spending more time with family and loved ones. It might be traveling the world. It might be making an impact on your community, or it might be just a heck of a lot more money. Like, whatever it is that that works for you and the area that you're passionate about or excited about, that's where you can just choose to create greatness rather than just accepting, where you are and staying there.
Yes, it's your level of, when we talk about getting to the top 1% in the members of NAWSP, it's whatever the 1% looks like for you. If you want to be the world's best auntie, then do that and do it well. There are two schools of thought here in the Metro Detroit area. Number one is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The other one is, if it's not perfect, keep working. So you've only got two choices. Which choice is the best for you? I encourage you to choose the latter and to keep striving for that 1%, whatever it looks like.
Yeah. And also, I mean, if I can add to that, it's perfection does not exist, but it's the journey. It's right. The dedication to getting better and better, working towards the idea of perfection, but also recognizing there is no perfection. So understand that it's a long term, like it's a journey. It's not something that you necessarily ever stop if you want to keep getting better and better. But that's also the exciting thing about it, right? You don't need to be like to have the best result tomorrow or next week or even next month or even next year, right? Because you're going to keep pushing the boundaries of what better looks like and what that end result is. And that's life. I mean, that's the exciting part. If you're not progressing, then what are you doing?
Surviving and it's a commitment toward excellence and your excellence of what you can accomplish. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, or else you're just going to be head and shoulders above them. When you compare yourself to yourself, then the sky is the limit.
Yeah, you can struggle to survive or you can struggle to succeed. And I think success tastes a lot better. I don't know if someone said that before, or maybe I just coined that. I like I like the sound of it. I don't know, maybe I heard it somewhere else, but yeah, struggle to succeed, struggle to survive or struggle to succeed. And I know both you and I and many others have chosen to, struggle to succeed because that's just the journey, and success is so much more enjoyable. So Cynthia, I really enjoyed this conversation. I want to make sure that people can learn more about you and everything that you're working on. Let us know, where's the best place for people to go to do that?
LinkedIn, please.
LinkedIn. All right. So we will make sure to have Cynthia's profile in the show notes. You can go there, and Cynthia Barnes, you'll be able to click a link, go directly to her profile. Do you want people to connect with you, or just say hi, let them know maybe what they found most interesting about the session here today, the little interview and podcast?
I'd love to know what actionable item they're going to implement to take their business to the next level.
So there you go, everyone. That is your challenge if you choose to accept it. And I hope that you will. Reach out to Cynthia on LinkedIn. Let her know, what one action are you going to implement? Are you going to actually move forward with? What have you found to be most kind of beneficial? What have you learned today? Do reach out to her, and also reach out and connect with me as well if you're not already, or to shoot over a message. This is why we do this. It's always to help to add more value. Your comments, your suggestions are always welcome. Thank you again, Cynthia, so much for coming on. I really enjoyed it.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.